ba ba bum bum.
Ba 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 da da da. Oh,
Welcome to another minisode of Esoterica, the
El
podcast.
Podcastito.
We're here celebrating May the 4th. So what? Yes, not Star Trek the 4th. May the 4th be with you. So we thought we'd do a quick mini-sode, maybe review one song and do some musing about the greatest modern myth ever constructed, the Skywalker saga.
So I have to say there was a show I was gonna play when I was in a band, and it was a May the 4th show, and what we were going to do was have I was supposed to be Princess Leia when we were playing. We were going to get 2 cinnamon buns and glue them to my head on like a headband or something,
Okay.
and have the guitar player come over and eat the cinnamon buns off of my head as we're playing the song. So that never came to fruition. We never did that, unfortunately, but
It could have been fun.
it would have been funny.
Funny. Star Wars.
So if you listen to our live streams, you will have heard about Chris's theory on Gungan milk. Gungan milk.
So that all started with when Padme first meets Anakin in Phantom Menace. There's quite an age gap between the two of them.
Clearly.
Over the course of the prequels, Anakin ages quite a bit, and Padme does not, which in my mind is not problematic because they come from different worlds, even though they're both humans.
Yeah.
But to explain the disparity in aging, I came up with this theory that, and this partly comes from a throwaway comment that Obi-Wan makes. So when they're on Naboo, and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are appearing before Boss Nass, Obi-Wan says, surely you understand that you have a symbiotic relationship with the Naboo. And that is never expanded upon. What exactly is a symbiotic relationship? Because symbiosis implies that both societies are benefiting from the existence of the others.
Right.
So I came up with a theory. The Gungans are used as wet nurses for the Naboo. That drinking Gungan milk is what keeps the Naboo young and aging at a slower rate than other humanoids in the galaxy. Whether or not this is the blue milk that we see on Tatooine is subject to debate, but I firmly believe that at least Naboo society, and I'm not talking about bottling milk from Gungans, I'm talking like wet nurses. So the young Nabooians are sucking at the teat of female Gungans, which, by the way, in the Phantom Menace, you don't see any female Gungans. So it's possible they reproduce asexually, but if they are a binary gendered race, then you don't see any females in the movie because
Jar Jar's a male,
Jar Jar is a male.
and we're sure of that.
I believe they use male pronouns when referring to him in the trilogy.
I'll have to go back and pay attention to that.
Yeah, I mean, Misa Jar Jar Binks. I don't know if they're.
Misa Jar Jar.
I don't know if they use gendered nouns like the Spanish do, but
See, now I want to look up.
whether it's actually defined if
Yeah.
Jar Jar is male or not.
That says he is nearly killed.
Yep. See,
Yeah.
so what happened? Where are the female Gungans? That's where they are. They are in the palaces of Naboo, being wet nurses to Naboo society.
And I'm just looking up if there's female. Oh, it looks like there's a niece to Boss Nass.
Is she seen on screen?
I think it's Clone Wars. I'm not sure.
Well, there's always exceptions to the rules.
Yeah, there are.
So until Pablo Hidalgo says otherwise, this is my working theory for why Padme ages at a much slower rate than Anakin. in the original prequel. I mean, not to mention too that Anakin grew up on Tatooine, and the effects of the twin suns probably speeds up the aging process, which explains why Obi-Wan goes from Ewan McGregor to Alec Guinness in the span of 20 years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Moisturizer. If he had some Gungan milk to keep him young and elastic, they'd be so much better.
Yeah, there's like a thread on here about other female Gungans, and not reading any of it. It's there. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the interesting things about Star Wars fandom is, I guess a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands.
Clearly.
Gungan milk. I changed my mind.
So, today, we are going to listen to one song, one track. That's what we typically do on our minisodes.
Yeah, and this song has an interesting pedigree. So the original theatrical release of Return of the Jedi, the movie ended with a song called Ewok Celebration. It was composed by John Williams and had lyrics in the Ewok language that were written by Ben Burtt. And then there were English lyrics that were written by Joseph Williams. I don't know if he's related to John Williams. And they also wrote Lapti Nek, which is from the same movie that's from In Jabba's Palace. They are both fun songs. So these are the songs that I grew up with. For whatever reason, in 1997, when the special editions came out, they replaced both those songs. Ewok Celebration was replaced with Victory Celebration, which is a more traditional classical music sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not the fun, silly Ewok Celebration song. So I was disappointed to see that go. But anyway, getting back to the song that we're listening to today, in 1983, when the soundtrack was released, Meco recorded a version that got to number 60 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now, Meco had previously done songs from the original Star Wars. He did the Star Wars Christmas album with R2-D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, which featured a very young John Bon Jovi, his first time in a recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
So then in 83, Meco strikes again with the Ewok Celebration.
Meco strikes again. Meco strikes back.
This is Return of Meco. And interestingly enough, in the middle of this song is a rap, which I presume is performed by C-3PO. That's always been my presumption since being a kid.
Yeah.
Somewhere online I saw someone say a rapping Ewok, but
that doesn't work.
No, and C-3PO is a translator droid. He knows millions of languages, and he knows Ewokese. So
Ewokese. I don't know why that cracks me up.
It's C-3PO rapping. So the rapping in this song was actually done by none other than Duke Booty.
That name!
Duke Booty, real name Edward Fletcher, was a Sugar Hill label session musician and Furious 5 collaborator. In fact, on Grandmaster Flash's first album, most of the rapping and music was done by none other than Duke Booty, rather than Grandmaster Flash himself. So we saw with Star Wars the genesis of John Bon Jovi's career, and now the genesis of the entire rap genre.
The entire rap genre started solely with Star Wars.
That's what.
So thank you, Star Wars, for making rap happen. Yes.
Dre owes everything he has to
Isn't
Meco.
Dre up in here?
Meco and Duke Booty.
Book Duty. I don't know. Duke Booty. Who said to him, "Hey, you should go by Duke Booty," or like, "Hey, I'm thinking of calling myself Duke Booty." And you're like, "Oh man, that's a great idea."
Yeah. The 80s were an interesting time. There's a lot of cocaine. So we want to give this a spin.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just basti, kuchin mi
So that was Ewok Celebration.
That was funny. Oh, I'm gonna wet myself.
It's been a long day.
So, R2D2's rap is great. No,
C3PO. C3PO, aka Duke Booty.
Duke Booty.
You might be interested to know that there are actually English lyrics.
There's English lyrics.
There's English lyrics to the Ewokese. Freedom. We got freedom. And now that we can be free, come on and celebrate. Power. We got power. And now that we can be free, it's time to celebrate. Celebrate the freedom. Celebrate the power. Celebrate the glory. Celebrate the love.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't going to sing it.
Celebrate the love.
But that's the translation in basic.
Is that the is that from the actual movie, or is that what he says in the?
Yeah, I mean, I read that from Wikipedia, but yes,
Wikipedia. I know
Yes.
exactly what you're talking about.
So apparently, when they wrote it, Ben Burt, the sound designer, came up with the Ewokese, and then somebody else actually wrote an English for basic translation to.
The sound designer. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the Meco version, which obviously is a little goofier than the movie version.
Yeah.
But I like that better than the special edition one. It was fun. It was everybody was celebrating and they were happy. And not the new music that they put in was good as well, but this just had a fun feeling to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why suddenly Lucas would feel like this is too childish, because Return of the Jedi was followed by Phantom Menace, so if anything, we doubled down.
Well, like you said before, it's a kids movie.
It is, yes. At the end of the day. And the Ewoks were a happy-go-lucky race until the Empire came knocking on their
Until the
doorstep.
Empire struck back.
And they did, but fortunately the Jedi returned and put things in order.
You're insane. You're absolutely insane. That was fun. As you can tell by my obnoxious laughter at the beginning of this section here, that was great.
Yeah, I need a good laugh these days.
Yeah, these strange times.
And it's funny, this whole May the 4th started off as just a jokey, play on words, but Lucasfilm and now the House of Mouse have really embraced it and turned it into, well, it's a money-making opportunity. If we're going to be honest with ourselves, but
is it May the 4th and Revenge of the 6th, right?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, so that exists, but it's not as a big deal. But May the 4th is actually there's usually a whole bunch of special Star Wars content and merchandise that are released on that date.
Like today.
Like
it's
today.
May 4th.
Yeah, and actually,
Rise of Skywalker is out on Disney Plus.
You can watch the entire trilogy on Disney Plus.
Trilogy, is that what it's called now?
That's what I'm calling it.
Trilogy.
Trilogy.
The trilogy of trilogies.
So you can watch the whole Skywalker saga from the origins of Darth Vader all the way through to, spoiler alert, the Emperor's granddaughter. All right. So one thing I want to get off my chest here, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but let's talk about spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
That term gets thrown around a lot. People get very worked up. And I totally agree. It's a dick move to give out details of something before somebody's had a chance to see it.
Yeah.
But I want to go on record in saying it's only a spoiler up until the movie's released. As soon as it is released, it's no longer a spoiler. If you haven't seen the movie, it may be spoiled for you, but somebody telling you details, it's no longer a spoiler because the movie is out and can be viewed.
Yeah.
3 months down the road where people are screaming no spoilers, I'm like, sorry, it's no longer a spoiler.
Yeah, well, and people that we'll review a movie from let's say they've never seen Star Wars before, right? But somebody's reviewing it in a video and they talk about it and you're like, oh, that's so spoiled. That movie came out like 40 years ago. Leave it alone.
And there are still people that get excited about that. And I definitely feel like there should be some leeway in the first week or so when something has come out, because people have lives, and maybe they are agoraphobic and don't want to go to the theater when it's overly crowded. I get it, but technically it's no longer a spoiler if the content is out for public consumption.
Yeah.
So
go on Wikipedia. The entire plot is there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Get over it.
I personally prefer to spoil movies for me, because then I don't know. I don't like being surprised going into a movie. I kind of just want to know what's up.
Yeah, it depends. Like, I am that way with Star Wars. Every single movie, I've wanted to know all the details before walking in, because I just want to experience it. And sometimes knowing what's going to happen, it keeps me from getting distracted by the surprise of it.
Right.
And I'm not a patient person. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, before we go any further, I want to take a minute to talk about the awesome folks at Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way. In fact, it's the way that we make a podcast. Let me explain.
It's free.
There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more.
And you can make money from your podcast. Best part, no minimum listenership.
Ooh. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
It's so cool. We found the service. We started using it. We're making podcasts.
Yeah, making podcasts, making money, having a good time.
So listen, you want to get you out there. You want to be heard. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Thank you.
So that was our mini-sode for today.
Yeah, May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
So I think we probably talked about it in our last episode, but Wednesday is our next episode coming out. So, Chris, what's that episode again?
I don't know. What is that episode?
Hi, How Are You by Daniel Johnson.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I'm losing. I have no concept of time anymore. It's all gone. So our episode coming out Wednesday, we take a listen to outsider artist and 90s indie darling Daniel Johnston.
Indie darling.
Who is probably almost as esoteric as you can get until Kurt Cobain started talking him up, and he had some popularity in the 90s. But a very sad story, very interesting artist, fun album to listen to. So tune in; it should be good.
And as always, you can listen to our all the albums from our episodes on esotericapodcast.com. So if you want to get a head start, hop on there and listen to Hi, How Are You? Which there's a link to it on the website.
To you, as well as links to our live streams and all our episodes and our social media presence, which is out there. So
he's out there.
Check us out, pass the word, like us, favorite us, share us, do your thing. I will continue coming at you.
Yeah. Well, until Wednesday, I'm Aaron Christian.
I'm Chris Schultz.
This is Esoterica.